Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tech Down Over. I'm Rick Zanotti, and I'm joined today by my good friend and co-host,
Geoff Blanchard.
Let's start. And we are back. And we've got Harold Muliati.
Harold is here again.
There he is. It's sort of funny when we try to do those little quick things, we have latency. So between here and Australia, if I say, and I'm joined by, and it took about a second or two for Geoff to hear that. And so we try. But the tricks don't always work with latency. It's amazing what it's almost 8,000 miles will do to you.
Yeah, and it's only that second, but you just don't realize what a second makes in timing.
Yeah, it's interesting. And Harold's just right next to me. He's just probably about 7-8 feet from me on the other side of this table, or of my monitor, which I'm looking at.
Well, if you look at your screen, you can see that I'm only about half an inch away from you.
That's true. Or at least about 2 feet. But so anyway, here we are. It's another Friday the 13th. This is an unlucky day to buy gear, isn't it?
Oh, well, it should be. It would be hopefully that it would be one of those days that if you go into the shops, they'd be glad to sell you anything at any price because nobody will be out there buying stuff.
True. Now, in your case, it's actually Saturday the 14th.
That's correct. Yes.
You've avoided the scourge of the 13th.
Yeah. Well, nothing happened. Nothing happened yesterday. I don't believe in any of those superstitions.
No, I don't either. You know why it's called Friday the 13th?
No, because it's the 13th and it's on a Friday.
No, it's actually an interesting tale. It has to do with the Templars. Remember those little fancy knights from the days of yore, the ones who went to the Crusades and everything else? Well, the Templars were not the best friends of the King of France. And on the 13th, a Friday, that's when he had them all killed.
Oh.
And that became Unlucky Friday. And it stuck. And, it's kind of funny. In a lot of places, Friday the 13th is an unlucky day because of that. Now, when I lived in Argentina, it was Tuesday the 13th or something like that. That's when the stock market crashed. And that was a horrible day everybody remembered. So it's sort of interesting how these myths perpetuate and then how they become bad luck days because of one event totally unrelated to your country, your culture, or anything else. It's just sort of interesting.
It's just strange that some also as well with the number 13, some buildings don't have a 13th floor.
Like hotels. I don't think hotels do.
But still, to me, that doesn't make any difference because no matter what you call it, it still is a 13th floor, whether you call it the 14th or whatever.
Well, no, that's like being a politician. No matter what you tell them, reality is what they think it is. So they think it's actually the 14th.
Yeah.
So,
we was just having the argument on the weekly cat. Well, not the argument, but it's like in Australia, you said when you ask an American what the first floor is, that's the one you start off on. But no, in Australia, the ground floor is the ground floor, and the first floor is the next one up. But that's the second floor for you, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's not everywhere because when I lived back east, the first floor was the first floor, and the bottom floor was the lobby.
Yeah, no.
But out here in California, the first floor is the first floor and the lobby.
Ground. Yeah.
So it's a little odd.
Anyway,
it's kind
anything
of like
great been happening with you in tech this week?
Not too much. Haven't bought anything. Well, I did buy something, only because I'll tell you. Harold and I saw this happen in scary real life. I have a Rode VideoMic Pro R, the Rycote one. Mm-hmm. It's always worked fine. I think I've had it for about 3 years. It's had on and off usage. It's a good mic. It's clean. It uses 9-volt batteries. Not my favorite batteries because they're highly conductive and reactive. 9 volts can cause issues. They can cause fires, explosions. It's one of those kind of batteries. But anyway, Leslie comes in and I said, can you put this in there? She does. And the door closed, so it was incorrect. You can't put it incorrectly because the door won't close. So she put it correctly, And for some odd reason, I'm glad I wanted, I don't know why, but I wanted to check what she did. And I opened it up, and it's kind of tricky opening up the battery compartment. You have to kind of push up and pull at the same time. Not the easiest gesture on that mic. And I pulled it up, and I'm seeing kind of a little bit of smoke and heat, and a lot of heat. That battery is almost white hot. You can't touch it that much. And I went, holy smoke. Not only that, it was bulging at the top. Just bulging like it's any. I think if we have left it another minute, it probably would have exploded or caught fire. Pretty sure.
And it stayed very hot for another good half hour, would you say? It stayed
it stayed hot a good half hour.
Yeah.
It did not go down at all. We thought that was weird. We thought maybe we have a bad battery. We tried a different 9-volt, all brand new, another 9-volt battery. Same thing. Within 15 seconds, we put it in and pulled it out. It was already about half as hot as the other one and started bulging a little bit on the bottom this time. And Harold said it's actually pregnant, and we're going to have little 3 volts with it. But I mean, I've never seen a 9-volt do that. I mean, I've heard stories of 9 volts causing problems when they touch metal. Well, actually, Harold had an experience when he was a kid. You want to tell us about that?
I wasn't really a kid. That wasn't actually that long ago.
Okay, about a week ago. He had
So what happened was I was going to change a garage opener 9-volt battery. So I get the 9-volt battery. I stick it in my pocket. I walk over to the garage, and I grab the battery. I put it in the the controller, and it doesn't work, and I'm confused. This is a new pack of batteries I just opened. So I reach in to get my keys, and they're really hot. My hand shoots right out, and it conducted, I guess, one of the keys on the keychain bridged the positive and negative terminals, and I guess all the electricity came out, and whatever resistance was there caused the keys to heat up really hot.
And they can go really hot. It's pretty amazing. So anyway, we tried 4 different batteries with the same exact result. Either it got really, really hot. Well, they all got really hot, and they bulged in different ways. Some bulged at the top, some bulged at the bottom. But the thing is, if we left it at least a minute, it probably would have maybe exploded. Because I have heard they can explode. I don't know how big the explosion would be. It might be large enough. Probably more like a firecracker type explosion. But the thing is, we now sent it back to Rode for repair. They had no problem repairing it or replacing it. I'm not sure what they're going to do. But that's a little scary, because if you've got a Rode mic, it tells you how to put it in, and it only goes in really one way. It'll go in both ways, but it won't close if you have it upside down. So it's pretty easy to always find the right way to put it in. But if you put it in and there's a problem like that, it makes you a little bit nervous. Is that going to happen to us again? Will it happen to someone else? We looked on the web and we couldn't find anything about that. So we're hoping it was a one-of incident. But that's a little scary. What if we had put that in our luggage on a plane and it explodes? Could that have caused that could cause damage? Maybe even a plane crash. You don't know. It's just one of those slightly scary things.
Well, that's the thing is with batteries, and that, as I said, maybe not so much the battery, but what, like Harold was saying, when it comes in contact with something. I know as kids, I don't know if you had the same thing there, but with Radio Shack, when they were going good,
yes,
you used to get when you bought something with all the kids, you got a card and you could get a free battery every month.
Yes.
You'd go in and get it, and you'd get a 9-volt. And the thing that we always used to do when with little kids, you had to stick your tongue on the 2 terminals and see who could do that. As kids do all the wrong things, but I mean, you think when you're traveling on a plane, if they come into contact with things, and it's something so innocent, it can cause such damage,
and it can cause damage. And I don't know. I haven't gone on the web to see if. Hey, actually, Howard, do you want to do a quick web search? 9-volt battery exploding. Let's see if there's anything on the web of any 9 volts exploding. We could share it with people, because this is what probably would have happened with that Rode VideoMic Pro Rycode edition if we had left it, I think 1 minute would have done it. I mean, it was bulging already to the point of it. There wasn't much more room to go. 2 for sure. If it didn't explode by 1, I think by 2 minutes it would have gone off. So,
and I think the ironic thing with the 9-volt batteries is, I think the same thing there. The one battery that fits in all the smoke detectors.
yes, I know.
So you don't want that to be the cause of any issues.
That is sort of funny how they use 9 volts for smoke detectors.
Most of what I found, it looks like they kind of burn up. Like there's a jet of flame coming out of some of these ones that I found in an image search. But
so what do you see? Could you share some of those?
Yeah, here's one.
Oh, there's
it's
wow.
Sort of a lot of flames coming out, and there's like a puff of smoke.
But if you're inside, let's say you're in a plane or a place, that could cause quite a bit of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, but we live with all these things on a day-to-day basis that can all be dangerous.
Yeah. Now, we've never had a problem with them. I was aware of 9-volt issues, and throughout the years we've been doing filming and video, and it never had a problem. That was a first, and once you see it on your own and you see the heat that it's generating, that's a little alarming. But I do think, or something was wrong. I suspect something was wrong with the road where something, I don't know, maybe it got bent. Something happened internally that caused it to do that, because road's pretty decent. I mean, they're not perfect. Nobody is. But their mics have been great, and that video mic, this is the second one I've had. I've never had any problems with them. My first one was in 2011. I think this one came out in 2015, and I got it shortly thereafter. So 2 Video Mic Pros never had a problem, and I've seen a lot of people talk great about them, just like we do. But to see it do that to a 9-volt, wow, that gets your attention.
Because I think last week's guest, William, was using one of those as on a little tripod stand-up to record one of his sit-down interviews or his podcast.
Yeah.
So I'm saying a bit funny because I'm hearing myself back, Rick, so I'm just getting a bit funny when I'm talking.
Oh, you're hearing a little bit of
I've got myself, every time I speak, I hear myself back 2 seconds later.
That's weird.
Huh. That's
weird. I thought we had that fixed. But that just could be latency on the internet. That's why you're getting that little bit of a delay.
I'm not getting a delay with you. It's only me.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
You're straightforward.
Okay.
Yeah, we are hearing a bit of a echo or something on yours as well. It's faint, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm hearing myself back when I speak.
So anyway, there's one little gripe I have on the Panasonic G9, which I love. I love. This isn't it's not a gripe. It's more of a concern on design, and they've done this on some other Panasonic cameras in the past, like the LX100. I think there's been some other ones. They have the on and off switch. I don't have the camera with me right now. Which is in the front where your shutter release is. It's part of the shutter release. You go this way and then press, and now you can take pictures. However, when you put it in a bag, because the shutter relief sticks out a good half-inch or more, it constantly turns it on. Oh. And when it turns it on, you get to where you're going, your battery's dead. That happened to me the other day, and I went, oh, man. It's very susceptible to turn on. Now, that would have been a good switch to have a button turn on. Like, you have to press it and turn it on.
Yeah.
But in this case, no. To me, that's a real flaw, because it can ruin batteries and it can ruin your camera after a while. To have that happen so easily. And so now I'm trying to put it into a bag. I'm using the Low Pro on my trip and trying to get it just so that it won't happen. And I think I've got it right, but that's an issue. Panasonic, you need to fix that, and you need to send us all free G9s with that fix, because we're missing a lot of good opportunities. If we show up and we don't have extra batteries, which we usually do, but what if you don't? You're stuck. You just lost whatever opportunity you had to shoot. And so that's just something that I find a little interesting.
And now, when you were showing me that, you weren't even moving around the bag. You were just kind of packing the bag, and even just the little bit of of movement in the bag because of that was already causing the switch to get flipped on and off. And
it was very easy to do. Now, I was listening to Hugh Brownstone last night on his latest podcast, and he was reviewing the Sony Z90, which is the same as the NX80 that we used to have. And he says it's a great camcorder. The picture quality is great. The focus is pretty amazing. But the ergonomics aren't quite that good. Though he was coming to the same conclusion that we did before, that we've already been to the area of craziness where he's feeling right now. He goes, why don't we use camcorders more? They're easier. Oh. They're great for filming long sequences and events. Really, DSLRs are not built for that. And he's getting to that why don't we do this? Why don't we do it more? And I agree that the latest two cameras we bought weren't cameras. They were two camcorders, professional camcorders from Canon. We had the NX80. We tested it. It was nice. It did run pretty well. Ergonomics were not great. There were a lot of weird things. But we decided, no, since we're going to stick with more of the Canon line, we actually, I was thinking today, we've been using Canon camcorders since probably the late 1990s. That's a long time. And we've never had a problem with them. There was one that was lousy. It was the Canon XHA 1. It just had a lousy codec. That was the first one that did true HD back then. That's about 10 years ago. Think about it. 10 years ago, now we're talking 4K like nothing. But back then, it did true HD. It had a very small sensor. And it just didn't have great quality, especially when we were green screening, which we were on one particular video. It didn't look good. It looked kind of like crap. And that's with one guy really finagling the settings to make it shoot right. And so we're saying, other than that one camera, we've had very good Canons for shooting video. You and I, Geoff, both had the HCX 1000 from Panasonic. You liked it. I didn't. I love the ergonomics. I love the controls and all that. I didn't like the image quality very much. You did like it. You had some good shots.
I thought it was great.
Yeah. I just didn't think it was quite what I expected, especially compared to the Canons. I thought they had better image. But then you and I both sold them. So you liked it, but not as much as you thought you did.
I did, but what the main thing was, probably a little bit too big.
It is big. It was big.
Where some of those, like the XA10 type cameras, are just only that 405.
Yep.
It's just a nice one to hold in the hand.
Yeah, it was a little bit big, but it had nice controls. I love the way the LCD panel came up from under the handle. I thought that was really kind of cool. I think they do that on the Canon, is it C100 or C2300? I can't remember which one. I think they all do it on those. It kind of gets hidden away and then pops out. On the Canons, you can actually move where you put that viewfinder. You have 3 coaches that you could put it on, which is kind of cool. So you have a lot of options depending on how you're filming and what you do with it. I've been looking at the C200 and the C300, and they're pretty nice cameras. It's funny. Some of the things are just really weird and limited, and you just kind of shake your head and go, why do you do this? Why do you do you just wonder. You just go, doesn't anybody ever give it to a user and say, test this? No, it doesn't seem like.
At least the Panasonic did have the electronic viewfinder where you could put it right up to your eye and really see it well outside. That's what I like.
Yes.
With it.
And it had a really nice viewfinder. And and the Canons usually do have good viewfinders.
Yeah, as I said, usually you can't. They've got a lot of them, but when you put them up to your eye, you just can't see. Well, it's just too small.
Right.
But not with the HX 1000.
Yeah, and I still haven't seen one as nice as that old Canon XL2.
No, I haven't.
Hey, can you go to images.google and type in Canon XL2, and XL and a 2. Now, take a look. For those who don't remember this camera, this is what it looked like. Should be coming up shortly. This was a great camera for its day. It was an HD camera, not 4K. There you go.
Oh, this funny shape.
Oh, that's
It's got the funny shape. But if you look where the viewfinder is, I don't know if there's a shot of the viewfinder.
Yeah, I can see the viewfinder. Yes,
it's big. It looks like you were watching a TV screen in there.
Mm.
And it had interchangeable lenses. that was an incredibly good camera. We would have kept it, but at the time we had nobody who could really use it well, and we wanted something a little bit smaller for some of the stuff we were doing. But it was a great camera.
Was it a tape camera or is this a digital?
It's digital. Oh no, I'm sorry. It was mini DV.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought it was a bit old for the digital.
Yeah, but I'm surprised Canon never reused that model. It was a nice ergonomic model. It was comfortable. That later became the cinema cameras, if you will, because they had the replaceable lenses. So I guess they took that idea and took it up to a different line.
Huh. Yeah, as I said, but I'm still stuck with the XA10. So to me, the quality on that one still is quite excellent.
Yeah.
But the only thing that might make me go up to the next one would be like that 405, because it's got the 4K.
You have 4K and you have the dual pixel autofocus.
And the thing is, but you don't need to have 4K. The HD on the XA10 is still quite good.
Yeah.
But the only thing is there is, no matter what you want, the 4K quality is just that little bit better, even if you're not using it, and then you can do a lot more with it.
Yep. But it is interesting. You know, we're watching an industry maybe heading back a little bit to camcorders, because ultimately you want something that's fast, easy, works well, is reliable, and has a really good image. And the new camcorders have beautiful images. You can even get depth of field on a lot of them because the images are not the images, the sensors are so clean. Like the Canon and the Sony NX80s, they're both 1-inch sensors. So you've got a very large sensor. Doesn't sound large, but 1 inch is a large sensor for video. And it can do some really nice tricks with the video. And not only that, it has very good microphone control. You've got 4 tracks of audio coming in. Let's say you have 2 tracks of audio on your channel A and B for XLRs, but then it can record scratch audio at the same time from channels 3 or tracks 3 and 4. So on 3 and 4, now you can use the camera built-in as backup audio in case something goes deadly wrong. So that's a nice feature. You're getting now 4 track on these camcorders that you didn't have before.
Well, and if you don't want to use the internal mic, then you can have 2 going in on XLR, and then you can have a stereo mic if you have it going in through the 3.5 millimeter mic jack, and that's enough to get all 4 channels.
Yeah. Now we got that Sound Devices Mix Pre 6, and that had one really good feature in it, and that is when you turn it on and when you connect it to the camera, to the camcorder with the HDMI, the micro HDMI. As soon as you start recording, it starts the audio recording. So it does it automatically through the HDMI.
Oh, that's good.
That's nice. So now you have backup audio at all times, and we're using lavaliers. We're using wireless lavaliers, the Sennheiser's Evolution G series. So they go into our MixPre, and the MixPre then sends it via the 3.5 millimeter into the camera. So it's kind of it's doing a little bit of a circle, but there's no latency. Everything's coming in real clean, and it's automatic. So you don't have to, did I turn it on? Did I forget to turn it on? Nope, it comes on automatically. That's a nice feature. We're pretty happy seeing what it could do with that. And that feature doesn't necessarily work as well. It'll work, I think, on a GH5. I don't know if it works on all cameras.
Yeah, it does. There's a bit of variation in the compatibility, and the other thing about that is it's part of the timestamp function. It actually, the MixPre 6 is turning on in the case that we have set up with the XFs when the timestamp starts running. So that way, we get activation of the recording and also synchronization of the timestamps.
Yeah, automatically just by using the audio timestamp. So that should work. That'll be fun in post when we come back. We're actually traveling next week to do a video shoot for about 2 days, and we're going to be trying out all of the new XF 400 and 405. So we're actually looking forward to a real solid shoot with those. Should be fun.
So you're taking both of those cameras and anything else?
Yeah, no, we already shipped them. They've already arrived. We shipped the cameras, 2 Westcott flex lights, just in case, but I don't think we're going to be using them. We were taking one of the Sennheiser MKE 66 microphones, the shotguns, or MKE 600, I think it was.
Correct.
Then we're taking, I got, since my Rode video mic got killed, I'm also taking, just to shoot some stuff on the side, a brand new Rode NTG 4 Plus. And that has a little lithium-ion battery built into it. You can't exchange it. If it goes bad, you have to send it back to Rode and they'll replace it.
Okay.
But that gives you 150 hours of recording time with 2-hour charge. It's amazing. It's amazing. And it sounds really good. So I've got that on top of the G9. I'm not really a shooter on this. I'm just doing a little bit of shooting of pictures and a little video just to test it out. But the majority of the shooting will be done by our 2 shooters, PJ and Jason, who will be actually using the XF400 and the 405. So that'll be fun. One's on they're both on wireless, but one of them is also recording. Well, they're both recording the audio internally, but we're also doing the Mix Pre 6 as our backup audio. And so that should go well. It should go pretty well. And they'll be on tripods, so we're going to be just moving them a lot. She likes to move a lot in her class, so we have to record the whole class. It should be fun keeping up with her. That'll keep everybody awake.
So the 405s, Rick, do they record on internally, or are they just on memory cards on there?
They record on memory cards, and they also record external to HDMI recorders.
Mm-hmm. And they have the 2 slots as well.
They do. Yeah. I don't know if there's any built-in memory on those.
I don't believe so.
I don't think so.
There might be a small amount for like settings and that sort of thing, but I don't think there is for actual
because I mean the old ones, like the XA10 had a 40 gigabyte hard drive and 2 memory slots, so you could do all sorts.
But then the newer ones, like the XA35s, they took out the internal.
Yeah.
I guess they figured it wasn't worth it. Or the internal ones didn't last as long. I don't know. I'm not quite sure why they took them out. And the cards are getting pretty big right now. We're going to be shooting with 256 gigabyte cards. They're big. And with all of our tests have gone really well, very clean, no issues. I was reading some reviews. A lot of people say they can get almost up to 2,000 write sequences on it. So in other words, you can reuse them 2,000 times. That's pretty good. One guy complained, I only got 1,000. Jeez.
Oh,
that's still pretty good. I'd be happy with 1,000.
But I think the thing is with the memory cards probably is now a lot of them doing the MP4, whereas when it's recording AVC HD, you have to ingest it into a program, whereas now you can cards in and just sort of have the files there, can't you?
Yeah, in fact, I think it was doing MP4, right?
Yeah. Well, it has a setting also for AVC HD, I think, but we have them on MP4.
Yeah. We found one thing out when we did go to AVC HD. If we went to 29.97 frames per second, it wouldn't play on one of our TVs. It was interesting. It's a Sharp. It didn't know what to do with it. If we went to 24p or to, what was it, 59 or something like that?
59.94.
That worked. But it didn't work on 29.97. Very odd.
So is there any advantage of doing AVC HD?
I guess it's a little less compressed. But I haven't really noticed. We've edited MP4s before without a problem. So it's fairly clean. I would say the AVC HD is probably a little cleaner. Now, this camera, the XF405 and the 400, they are supposed to be getting a new codec from Canon, like now. It's been already since, I think, November. They haven't done it. So I don't know when they're going to come. It's going to give us the XF. I think it's XF AVC codec. So XF is a wrapper around your actual codec. I don't know why they do that sometimes, except for compatibility maybe. Because when you have an XF, not everything reads it. I think Premiere does. I know Final Cut does, but not everything does. So it's just one of those. one of those.
But even then, a lot of those codecs, what the MP4 is good for is 'cause in that format, everybody can read it. Whereas a lot of the AVC HD can't just read the file on the computer. You've got to put it into a video editor.
And we looked at the quality between, and we did look at the quality between the MP4 and the AVC HD, and they looked about the same. The only issue I could see with the MP4 is because it is already compressed. Even though these are pretty big MP4s, they're not that compressed. I mean, we shot some 4K, and it was about 1 gigabyte per minute of 4K on the MP4. So it's pretty high quality. So if you do edit it, you might have a little bit of, because MP4 is not a lossless format. You might get a little bit of loss, but it should be minimal. It should be not too bad. The modern editors do a pretty good job of rendering, so I don't think you'd have too much of an issue with that. So, and other than that, we didn't really buy anything else new for it. I didn't even want to buy the NTG4 Plus, though I like it. It's a great microphone. It was just a very quick replacement for the Video Mic Pro, and I didn't want to do another Video Mic Pro at the moment until we get that thing resolved. I want to see what they tell us about the 9-volt batteries, because that's pretty unique, to say the least.
That's right. At least, you don't want anything happening when you plug your microphone in. You don't want that to sort of start. So.
Yep. Well, we are at the end of our time. It's already 3:32. We've done 32 minutes. That's pretty fast. So, Geoff, any big plans for the weekend?
No, nothing fantastic. I did all the housework last week, so I've got this weekend off.
That sounds good.
No
summer purchases on Amazon Prime?
No, well, we're in winter here, so. But I'll tell you what I did do. I did join up to Amazon Prime because we just introduced that here as well. So.
Oh, good. So is Amazon leaving Australia or no?
No, we've just come.
Just what?
They've just come. They've just come.
But they won't let you order online. Is that what it is?
No, they won't let you order on the US site.
Oh, okay.
So what their idea is, from the looks of it, if you see something, you go to the Australian site, and they might get it from America and charge you the difference if you have to. But that's what they're doing. So they charge the right taxes.
Okay. It's all about taxes, right?
Because I thought there has to be doing something like that. Because one of the things that was saying, being a Prime member, you can get free international shipping on certain products.
Oh.
And I thought, if you can't get to an international site, how can you get it shipped? So you must be able to do it from the Australian site. But they wanted to get bigger here as well. So.
Okay. That sounds good.
So do they give you the 2-day shipping for the Prime there now?
I don't know. I think if it is here, I'm not too sure. I haven't gone into it. I haven't bought anything since I joined up.
Yeah.
The only reason I joined up was more so for the videos, like the streaming videos. But I think it costs us here about $6.99 a month.
Okay, that's not too bad. Well, anyway, we'll have a good one. I won't be here next week. I think Harold will be joining you next week. I don't know. I think we have a guest.
Yes, we do.
I think, who's our guest next week?
Who is our guest?
Tom
Antosh.
Oh, Tom Mantos. Oh, shoot. I miss him. I like Tom. Have you seen his videos?
Yes, I do. I like his videos.
I like him too. I think where is he from? Is he Romanian? No.
I think he was Czech. I don't quite
Czechoslovakia,
remember.
I think. Czech Republic. Okay, I think. But he's good. He makes some really good videos. I like what he does. In fact, he said his favorite mic was the NTG4 Plus for Rode for recording. That's become his favorite mic. So interesting. But I will miss him, so you guys can have a great interview. It should be fun. I think he's a good guy. I don't know what time zone he's on. I guess he's about probably 9-10 hours.
Yeah, something like that.
Yep. All right.
He's in America, though, isn't he?
I don't know. That I don't know.
I
thought it was because most of the people he films tend to be Americans. Though they film a lot of stuff in Czechoslovakia, too. So you never know. We'll have to find out. That's your mission. Find out where he's from and where he is now. We'll put a tracker on him.
This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
That's right. All right. Well, hey, if you're watching the show, please subscribe. Give us your feedback. give us a thumbs up. Why not? If you don't, that's fine. Give us a thumbs down. We'll take whatever thumb you've got. Anyway, have a good one, everyone. We'll see you next week on Tech Down Over. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Hey, we're back here.